I'm going to take several grains in my hand here. Now, what if every grain of sand or of salt was in fact an encounter with God? Maybe we talked about devotional. Let's just take that for instance. What if every time you did a devotion and you really put your mind and your thought and your focus on God for that time in your 10-minute whatever, and you sat down, chances are every devotion wouldn't be earth-shattering. It would just be one little grain of sand in your life. So let's say you take a week and you just did that, and you did devotions, and you know what? That cloth here, we'll say that's kind of your nature. Unless you have really good eyes there in the back, chances are you don't even know there's any salt here. It's just, but it is. It's a little bit more salty than it used to be. That many days, that many encounters, that many devotions. But let's say that even something as simple as that, just in that you take day after day, grain after grain, where you spent a little time, just a little time, learning a little more about God, spending a little more time with God. You have a little tiny encounter. None of them in themselves earth-shattering. None of them all that big in themselves. And you do it day after day. And the first thing, well, there's half a year probably coming up there. And then you do a few more weeks of just this encounter, grain after grain, grain after grain. None of them a big deal in themselves. But you just keep doing them. You just keep doing them. They start to pile up. And all of a sudden, can you see the salt back there now? Yeah, wow. That means even from far away, somebody can tell that there's a salt in your life. Somebody even from a distance can see that you've become the salt of the earth. One grain at a time. One day, one 10-minute devotion at a time. One trusting God in some little event after a time. One serious reflective prayer after another. One grain at a time. And the next thing, a little pile starts to develop. This is how transformation happens. This is how even the world gets to see there's something different about you. You got a pile. And it's a good pile, not a bad pile. But the fact is, this is how we change. This is how we start being like the immutable God. Isn't it amazing? He's immutable. He's unchanging. But we're the ones who are changing to be more like Him. One grain at a time. Kind of makes consistency a big thing, doesn't it? Kind of makes the absoluteness of God a big thing, doesn't it? Who God really is. Wow. If we spent a few minutes every day just rediscovering who God really is, how we might look different to the world, to ourselves, our experience of God. One grain at a time. Just one grain at a time.